Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is going to be another fantastic episode because I'm energized to be in the space with you guys, the band As Oak, in their practice space, rehearsal space. I love this setting. The vibe, the energy, it's calming but electrifying at the same time. And then Cousin Frank is here in the background. We'll have Cousin Frank. Why don't you introduce the band? This is your favorite band.
I mean,
you introduced me to them. You're introducing the world. It seems like to them.
the world should be introduced to them, or if nothing else, they should be introduced to the world. The energy that this band creates is unlike anything you're going to experience on this planet. I can't speak for other planets because I've only been to this one. And the vibe, like you said, man, the vibe that comes from their music and their brotherhood and everything that they put into it is indescribable, which has been the phrase that pays over the last couple of months, or years actually. On bass guitar and harmonica, we got Sean. Jason over here, he will do anything necessary, primarily the keys and the saxophone. Blake will wreck guitars one at a time or multiple if needed. And then there's Christian. And I'll tell you right now, if you need a beat, that's the guy to come to because he will beat it up.
Thanks, Frank.
These guys, man. I'll tell you. And then, of course, Jesse, who's not here at the moment, but we interviewed him last week, who has the voice of 1,000 angels pleading for mercy. And they come together as the band As Oak. There's just no way to put into words how this band makes me specifically feel. And what we were previously discussing is our first meeting. And how it wasn't myself that brought me up into this space. It was their music, the energy, the vibe, the love, all of it, man. The effort, the care. And it was only these three guys that were up here at that time. And again, I was out in the parking lot, 5 floors down, and I couldn't help it, man. It brought me through that very door. And here we are, man. We're doing a podcast.
So when you guys first met Frank, what was that experience like?
It was awesome.
It was a lot. In the best possible way, though. We don't necessarily have an open door policy, but we're welcome to people coming through. But
you couldn't stop Frank.
But Frank came in like a freight train.
I mean, I think it's a trip when someone comes up off the parking lot. It's
happened multiple times. Yeah.
There's been, we've heard claps or whatever, just because people are walking across and you the sound just bounces right off of that glass, and it's a really neat kind of sonic space down there. So I thought this is great. This is exactly I think what this space is about, pulling that stuff up.
Now, was this space like this, or did you guys bring furniture in? Did you bring?
It was empty.
So it was empty.
Yeah, it was empty. We rented this place a while back. I mean, there was really nothing else up on the floor besides this bank of studios that's on the west side of this building. And it was just an empty space. Sean and I moved in and slowly but surely have populated over, a bunch of years.
When did you move in?
How long ago was that?
We debate about this sometimes. It's like a dozen years or so.
No!
Yes.
No.
I mean, how long have we been?
2012. 2012. Do the math.
Wow.
Oh, cow.
You guys have been in the space.
That's 13.
Yeah,
Just
we moved in
guys did.
September of 2012.
Yeah.
13 years, 13 songs on the album. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So Christian and Sean had this space.
I feel like it's been 9 years, man.
Well, it's
It
not.
was 9 years when you met us.
No, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so funny thing is when it was Sean and I'm sorry, I'm poking right in front of you. When it was Sean and I and our buddy Jamie jamming up here, it was an open house kind of situation. It's a lot of artists and whatnot in this building. And you wandered in, same, just like jumped
Yeah,
on some,
Jason
like an
wandered
old
in
hand.
just like
You know, we
Frank,
had
yeah.
this like messy little Hammond
shit.
organ.
I had an invite though, Frank, because I bought a guy a beer, and that was
Yeah,
Jason.
Jamie
that's what I
kind of
mean,
made.
man.
I brought
You're in.
beers my first
Yes.
time. I brought plum
Yes,
beers.
sir.
You did.
Brought
It's
gifts.
a
He's like
play
Santa.
space. I mean, I love the fact that like someone would come in and engage on this level. I mean, I can't even like that. We're even here is incredible, really. I mean, yeah, it's
We've come a
cool.
long way. And I'm not an As-Oak member, but I'm definitely As-Oak's biggest fan. And I will.
And this
I
is
will
You're part of the band, I think, really.
Yep.
So, Frank is introduced to the band in this way, like a year ago.
Yeah,
Almost
about a year.
exactly.
Yeah.
A year ago, but you guys have been in the space or affiliated with the space for a long while.
Quite a
When
long
did we do,
while.
Like,
yeah.
Liniments?
Yeah.
The Jesse's
When we did
Solo
me, you-
performance?
Yeah, me, you, and him.
would have been like 2017.
Yeah, 2017, and then that's when
Yeah.
Sean brought us in.
8 years. 8 years.
Jeez.
You think we were here for 4 years before we met these?
I mean,
it doesn't matter.
We can look at the paperwork, but
We can check the facts.
Yeah.
It was September of 2012 was when we first rented this place.
I think you're right now. I just looked at it a different way. You're right.
So who brought all this different stuff? Like, I'm sitting in this really cool chair. I got this
Christian.
floral pattern.
Christian did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could. This is Christian's
we got-
artwork
There's
up.
lots of
We got-
stories. There's so many stories.
That was a
I
piano.
love the artwork in this space.
Thanks, man. It's not all mine, but a lot.
Christian,
bunch of
wife's
things in
is
mine is
the funky one.
Dina
Yes.
Nord's got some paintings.
Okay.
Christian mostly.
I mean, it's just over time. Like, so
Yeah.
the first handful of years when we were here, you know, it was just like some old friends playing music together, as this kind of is and has grown to be in another iteration, right? But it was, you know, three dudes, and I came into like creative life as a visual artist.
Okay.
And so this was also like an art space.
Yeah.
So those two things were kind of going on, and over time, like the growth of music is just overtaking it all, really. But
I'll
the
tell
art,
you- I'll
the
tell
art
you what
remains.
really-
The
what really
artifacts
happened.
remain.
Christian and I were watching a Packer game in a bar,
Classic.
This
And
is the way back.
and I said,
Actually, I love it even more.
Christian, I'm gonna get a bass for Christmas. You should get some drums.
Yeah,
And so
it
then
happened.
we did.
It
And
happened.
then
Packers
was-
Giants.
football season. Then I feel like by April we had this place rented.
Yeah, I think we were at Mamie's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh,
how,
kidding.
Yeah,
That's
we were
where
at
you
Mamie's.
Fuck
Yeah, we were
yeah,
at
dog.
Mamie's. Watch Packer game.
that's how it happened with me and Blake.
That's smart.
Blake moved in like right across the street. Started hanging out. He had his guitar. I had a keyboard. It's like, let's do something.
Yeah.
And then we, called up our buddy Jesse because he can sing like an angel. And
1,000 angels.
1,000
1,000.
angels.
Yes.
And Jesse, I think, is that when he started open mics, or was he already doing open mics?
No, it was a while before he started doing open mics.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would just come over. We go to Blake's and just got a couple tunes out. Yeah. Then Jesse started doing open mics. We got into Linneman's. Sean is my neighbor,
Okay.
and I never.
Yeah, that's the other across
I-
Oklahoma part.
I never, I never really interacted with Sean until that night. I was downstairs.
And Enlightened?
I wasn't Enlightened. I think they were still in there. Yeah, and I meet this dude, talking to him. He's like, I'm going upstairs, jam space or whatever. He's like, I was like, that's cool. Like, I play keys, and somehow I got out that, he's like, yeah, my buddy who's, I heard dentist, but it was dental tech or whatever he said. And I was like, that's weird. I was like, where does he live? And he's like, oh, over here. And I was like, I'm pretty sure my neighbor has a dental lab right there. And and so I got up there, and sure enough, fucking here's my neighbor.
Yeah, he opened the door. I'm like, you're my neighbor, dude.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Yeah, we were jamming. There was like an old Hammond organ
Yeah,
against
played the organ.
that was barely working, and he just got on it, and that was it, really.
And then I think, was it, you came with me, or, you got in with me and Blake for a little bit?
And Jesse was there.
Jesse was there by that time?
Yeah, in your basement.
Yeah, you guys were playing for a little bit.
We just did like
before I
two
was
basement
introduced.
practices, and I was like, well, I got a jam space and a drummer.
Yeah.
So let's just go over to
What are we doing here?
Lincoln Warehouse next week. And we did, and then that's it. That's how the band formed.
Essentially, yeah.
That's a great story. Like, there's so many different elements.
Yeah. I feel like Frank and I are probably aligned with this. But when you think about like the butterfly effect and how like every individual decision leads to the bigger decisions, and then when you think about the story and like a band getting together, there's so many individual parts
Yeah.
that have to happen for the thing to happen.
Yeah.
And then now you guys are putting out an album very
An
shortly.
incredible freaking album, man.
We have it playing in the background. It's very good. It's very soulful.
Thanks.
It is. It really is, man. I think there's a lot of soul in this band.
Now,
Deep soul.
the recording of it, did you guys record it here in this space?
Nope.
Or
Sean's
did you go
house.
separate?
Did it in my house. Yeah.
Oh, that's what Jesse said.
Yeah.
Your wife was gone for...
Yep.
Yeah.
Kimmy,
Where did she go?
Kimmy went to Sweden to
Sweden.
visit her niece.
Hurry up! Come on!
She's gone, guys. Let's go. Yeah.
No, we had it planned.
Yeah,
we
we
had
had-
it planned.
we had permission.
It was well organized. It
And
really
then
was.
what we did is I called my good friend Carl, and he's a sound man. He works at PBS, but he did sound in a band I was in a really long time ago. And I called him up, and then he came over. We kind of came up with a game plan. He found a dude to rent a big board from, right?
Yeah.
We just moved all our stuff
Yeah.
into my house. We cleared all the furniture out, and we like isolated Blake in a bedroom. We had like a harmonica amp in the bathroom.
bathroom.
We had Jesse's
Something in the
guitar
kitchen. You had in the kitchen. Yes. Yeah, because in conversation, I was like filming stuff off that, and these guys were jamming. And I was just moving around the weird, crazy space we had set up with the sort of isolation in 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, really. And then they were in it. It was just like,
You
wait
guys
a
have
minute, this is
video of this?
going
You have
on.
documentation?
There's little snips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's
some
snips.
video.
Cool, man. That's.
So
I'm sorry, cut you
really,
off.
really, how we did it is we played. We tried to isolate as best we could, but
Yeah.
there was plenty of bleed through. But we did it under headphones.
Right.
So
Okay.
I think you were plugged straight in. I was
yeah, like
plugged
the
straight
bass
in.
wasn't coming into the room. We were trying to get the best drum sound as possible.
As clean as possible, but
Yeah.
there's bleed, you know. It's
So how
just-
do you guys make the decision to like not do it here? Like what goes
Larry.
into that?
It's a story of Larry.
So
Fucking Larry.
there's something
Sorry,
called Larry. So we have this noise interference in this space that comes through like this
Most unfortunate.
ghostly digital high-pitched staticky shriek. Best we can tell at this point, like this drove me crazy for like a year. I
It was
tried
a
to
thing.
tried to problem solve this. We tried power conditioners. I tried grounding. I tried all this stuff.
We never tried a Faraday cage this
We-
place, though.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
But there was
It sounds like
discussion.
shit in here when you record, man.
yeah.
It sounds like shit.
But best we can tell, so there is a Verizon 5G cell tower right above us on the roof.
Okay.
Right above us.
And we think that is the source of this. I mean, we even had the building management come in and check all of our power sources. We thought there was faulty power.
We took amps to different outlets outside of this.
Yeah, I was like a Ghostbuster with like the reader
Yeah.
going around the hallways trying to figure out where the sound was coming from.
So we got to go off location to record,
So,
which is
yeah.
cool. I mean,
It is. I mean, it is because it's a different space that you interact with. I mean, Lake House Sessions, that room was beautiful sounding immediately. I mean, we like set up and it was just like, oh, this is so.
So what do you guys look for in a space like when you go to a house? You know, like how we kind of move the furniture around for this recording.
Where's
like,
the drums gonna go?
where's the drums? Is the
I
first?
think that's the start.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the drum sound is the most important because that's the room's going to shape that the most.
Yeah.
Like we said, a lot of the other stuff is like Sean's bass. We can go direct
You're lined in. I'm in the room.
Keys can go direct in. Guitar amps we can put off in other rooms. We can run cables to isolate that. But yeah, the drum sound is really, the room's going to shape that.
And it's weird. It's acoustic. It's weird.
And we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
think we're totally making it up on the fly. Let's be real.
That's the best part.
See, I don't like that's a mischaracterization. We're not
We've
professionals.
learned. Yeah.
You know, we're not
We're
professionals.
It's trial and error.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like total DIY, but like we know what we like and we know what we want to feel. Like I don't think like we're
That's
not
the
like
most
stabbing in
important
the
thing.
dark. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
years experience amongst all of us coming from different directions. So
Innovation comes from necessity,
yeah, for sure.
and that's kind
For
of
sure. I mean, the places are the available places. Like we,
Yeah.
the Lake House Sessions was like, well, we have this place available. Let's do this here.
Speaking of Lake House Sessions, is Lake House Sessions the same place that you guys shot the
Yes.
cover of Bob
I'm sorry.
Dylan's One Cup of Coffee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
So
a big.
that's where you guys
Yeah.
recorded Lake House Sessions?
Yeah.
That's the room.
In the
man.
same room?
I'll show you. I'll show you
That's
some
correct.
pictures
That's
of all
dope.
that stuff.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
it was cool.
That I really enjoyed that.
It really
song.
was
I
like
really
one of the
enjoyed that
funnest
cover.
experiences of my life. I mean, actually, both recording sessions are like just pinnacle experiences in
Yeah,
life for
that's
me.
cool.
And like Lake House Sessions, we were there for a long weekend. It was cold as
Just
hell.
one weekend? You were there
Well,
for one long weekend?
Thursday,
or for
Friday,
the whole album?
Saturday.
Yeah.
We like set up
Thursdays.
on we got all the stuff there like Thursday night.
Yeah,
Then like
Then we played.
went home
yeah.
and got the and then went out early Friday,
Wow.
right? And
No,
then
no. I think it was Wednesday.
Wednesday.
We
were
set
there
up on
Thursday till
Wednesday,
Sunday.
okay.
and then we were there Thursday.
Okay.
Ate breakfast on Sunday, came home. Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you recorded the whole album that weekend.
Yeah, that was that weekend.
That's kick ass, man.
I mean, we
Yeah.
played a lot.
I bet. I mean, you
9
guys
in the
played
morning.
Here, you know?
You know?
Yeah, play all day and night.
Yeah.
And it really was born. You guys talked about this with Jesse. It was really born out of that national recording experience that we had. It was a beautiful place to try and record, but like, it wasn't getting at like what we were. I think all had collectively.
Yeah, it was.
Like we were too isolated. It was
sucked.
too uptight. Like
Yeah,
everything
we were,
about
we
it.
were
was-
not in the right.
We just needed our own space. Like we needed to meet the equipment at the same place and not have an interloper and just.
I feel like it's more and more common today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's easier to record now.
The technology is
Yeah.
more readily available to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How do you guys feel from Lake House Sessions going into this album? How do you feel that, like, clearly you've elevated? Like, how does that make
Yeah.
you guys feel as a band to know that, like, because Lake House Sessions is a pretty decent album, man. It's trippy, it's out there. There's a couple winging it type songs,
Yeah.
but this album is like super next level.
We grew a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew a lot.
I think it was just more time spent together. Just more time playing together.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like, as you know, as we're in the middle of it, we're not thinking like, oh, we're getting
Yeah.
better and better. It just kind of naturally happens just from the time we put in. I mean, we get together at least once a week.
Most of the time.
We've been doing that
Don't
since
miss a lot.
since 2018, and if you put enough time in together with that, I think a lot of it is like we work through a lot of stuff. We do like practice, right? Like we do run things, but a lot of it is just playing off of each other
Listening to
and
each other.
getting to know each other more. I think that's what, if anything's better about it, it's just we got to know each other more.
Yeah. In a weird musical way, you know. It's not like we sit. I mean, we talk. You know, we have conversations, but like it's like the getting to know is like
That's what
it's a
music
musical
is.
conversation.
It's like communicating
Yeah,
without
it's
having to speak.
communicating without-
Yeah.
So I mean, I love it. It's just
Yeah.
it's like it's the lifeblood of most of my weeks.
I think that's what draws me to you guys more than any other band that I've listened to is that you're so predominant in that type of communication because it's such a drawing sound. So from Lake House Sessions, when did you record that? What year did you record that?
21.
Was that COVID?
No,
Well,
it was
it's
after COVID.
tail.
So national,
Yeah, National
Tip.
started
right before
COVID.
Yeah, it was right with like February before.
So it would have been. So
February 2020.
it was.
Yeah, February
Or
2020.
It was March 2020.
Yeah, February 2020. End of February 2020. We were there 2 sessions, 3 sessions.
Yeah.
Like the end of February. It was like like weird. Like it was, I can't even like.
So 2020, and then when did you guys decide to like? Because obviously I see a lot of your work on the board, and obviously the album's coming out March 21st,
March 21st.
2025. So at what point did you guys decide like these are the tracks, these are the songs, here's our album? Because I've watched the progression and the discussions of the album over the last year, and
Yeah.
We didn't have a list.
No, it was whatever Blake could
No, we had a
muster
couple.
up.
We had a couple songs we wanted to do. We wanted to do Jericho. We wanted to do Luna.
Yeah.
There were a couple songs we wanted to do
Flowers.
that we couldn't. We didn't. We did a bad job of.
Mark
We
of the
didn't use
Beast. I
it.
mean, we had like material that like things we were playing. You know, we tried to play all the things we were playing through that period of time. I think.
Well, but we tried to do that one song, Complicated. We couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, there's some. I mean,
You know
there's
what I mean?
always some shit that didn't come out.
Yeah, the amount of the recording that we didn't put out, for whatever reason or not,
Those songs will be back.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
well, that's
For
kind
sure.
of why I asked the question, because I've heard enough of you guys' music. Like, I would say 80% of the stuff that I come up here and listen to every week, like, could be on an album, right? Like, you guys could just play live every week, and each week could be an album. I mean, legit, man. You guys, like I said last week in the session, it could start off with you jamming a cymbal one time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we got piano, bass, and guitar.
Yeah.
Rocking.
Or he and I just playing
those are
off
called
something.
B tracks.
They're great. They're freaking great. Like that's the kind of stuff that the world should be exposed to, because it's naturally progressive music that happens organically with a brotherhood and a bond like no other.
I mean, it's improv. Like we're not really a jazz band, but we kind of are in a way because because of this. Like there's not like a discussion often about whatever song we're playing. I mean, sometimes we get into the nitty gritty of it, but there's like so much of the life of this band is honestly just listening to what we're doing and trying to give each other space. Sometimes we play over each other, but that's like the...
I didn't hit a wrong note. It's just jazz, baby.
Yeah, man.
Did you guys, when the album was complete, Across Oklahoma, did you guys sit down and listen to it together? Like take a separate moment? Or like how, have you done something like that? What's kind of the...
But I mean, Blake's been the
Situation around it.
mix master, so it was kind of as soon as he had something. we would
But
listen.
I mean as far as
Like when they're...
like celebration in a way.
Oh yeah, man. When it was all done, we listened. We've done that
Yeah.
a couple
Couple
times.
times.
Okay.
We had a
It's kind of
couple
fun.
Yeah.
of listening sessions.
And then,
Yeah.
then a couple tweaks, and then listen to it again.
And
Yeah.
if there's any questions, listen to the album.
Yes.
Okay?
That's right.
If you have any questions, America, listen to the album. All right? That is a staple here in this space.
So
I mean,
Yes,
to
man.
speak to the improv again, like we're sort of in this place of where we're getting ready to like perform some shows around this material, and it's been like a couple-ish months of like really going back to it and trying to get back in that headspace because it happened in a moment.
That was a
Like,
year
some of
ago
it is
we played
fucking,
it.
I mean, excuse me, is abstract. There's some tracks that are like, they are so abstract and they happen, like things are happening that you can't really plan for. Like I equate this back to my like drawing and painting life. When you're making marks on a page, that's when the drawing is the most beautiful. Like when you don't really know what's going on, but you're trying to sketch.
When you're in the present and you're joyful and
You're
in
so
the space,
deeply
yeah.
present. Like that's, I think, not to be like overblown about it, but I think that's the essence of
Yeah.
what we do together.
It's what drew me up here.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause-
comes off the river.
Yeah,
Comes off the
dude,
KK.
yeah. It's from the streets and back, man.
Yeah.
5 floors up, tearing down, and it waterfalled into my ears and literally created a backdraft of me being right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes, I do. I do.
It's the most incredible thing, man. I've never experienced anything like that. I've heard music everywhere, and I'm sure all you guys have too, right? Like, of
course.
We all have musical backgrounds. Actually, this is something that I've been wanting to ask you guys.
Yeah.
So, all four of you, okay, growing up, what was the music that you listened to? Like, what were your influences growing up? Not currently, because I know your musical libraries are vast, like Richie's, mine, Jesse's. So, growing up, what were some of the things that you listened to? Christian, let's start with you.
You were starting with me?
Yeah,
Here we go.
Like little kid life? Like when it's when
Sure,
you really
any
Musical
age from-
influence.
I mean,
So as far as you
I grew
remember,
up
it's-
on classic rock, so like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath. I mean, start there and like move your way out. Beatles, you know, like
I have most of those tattoos.
essential, like you know, like not American, but like, you know, Western rock and roll.
Classic rock, psychedelic,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of genre.
Yeah. And
Did your
yeah.
parents listen to that type of stuff?
No, my mom. So like the music that I really grew up on was like Marvin Gaye, was like
Cool.
Stevie Wonder, like 70s. You know, like I grew up in the 70s. A couple guys on the ends here were elder statesmen, I guess, or some sort of shit. But like that. I mean, that was like the milieu of our time was a lot of soul, was a lot of R&B, a lot of blues, I think. Yeah.
How about you, Blake?
Well, I was a '90s kid growing up in the '90s, so I mean, I remember my first like tape collection. It had like you had like the
Cassettes?
the briefcase with the cassettes.
The
Yeah.
briefcase.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Like, I remember, so I had, Crisscross. I had
Yes.
one of my favorite songs when I was a little kid was that Three Musketeers movie they did, and they had the theme song for it was like Sting, Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart,
Yeah.
like All for One and All for Love.
Yeah.
I used to wear that tape out.
Nice.
Nice.
These are excellent references.
This doesn't age well, but I was a huge Michael Jackson fan when I
No,
was a
it
kid
ages.
too.
You're fine.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
deep Michael
is it?
Jackson
Who doesn't get down
material.
MJ, right?
I would have my mom would VHS record
Yeah.
like all the Michael Jackson specials on TV. I remember I had the making of Thriller. That was
Oh,
like
good
my
stuff,
most
dude.
cool.
prized
Such good stuff.
possession.
Yeah.
Like I would watch that over and over. I would try to recreate the performances. And I remember I have a sister that's 2 years older than me. We would like do performances and we would like rehearse them and then call everybody in.
Yeah.
And we had like, I don't know if you guys remember like the those big like giant waffle blocks. They're like giant Legos.
Yeah, I know what you
Oh
mean.
yeah, for sure.
They were like big plastic blocks, and we would build stages with them.
Nice.
And we would practice and rehearse. Then we'd play the song, and we'd like, lip sync to it and perform it. But so like when I was a kid, that's what I was into. From my dad. My dad was listening to. My dad was a big Queen fan, so I got a lot of Queen when I was a kid.
I don't think I knew that about your dad.
Yeah, love Queen.
That's rad.
Saw him
That's
at
rad.
Southridge Mall. He always tells the story about seeing him at Southridge Mall.
Queen?
Queen.
Queen at
Selfridge Mall.
Yeah, they used to have big concerts. I think they did them outdoors on the stage. But yeah, he always talks about seeing and like so. I always heard a lot of Queen.
I want to learn more about that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds real cool.
And then as I grew up, like as I was starting to get into my own music, like, high school years. I was an emo kid. I liked,
Really?
Taking Back Sunday, Brand New. Like I was such a big Brand New fan. That was like, when I heard Brand New, that was the first time when I was like, I would love to do this. And it was also like you felt like you maybe could do it. It was like accessible in a way. And like I remember just like that's when I would just start writing lyrics. Like you would just write things. I couldn't play an instrument yet at that time. But like my formative years, that's where I was like, I think like indie rock was like I think I could do this maybe one day.
When did you start playing guitar?
I
Because you played well. Like, you
Thanks,
play
Frank.
like you've been playing your whole life. So I'm kind of surprised that, you said, what about high school?
I dabbled in high school. I was always the kid in high school. I was always super envious of the people that could play guitar.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to parties and like there'd be the one guy at the campfire that could like play actual songs, and I was just like,
fucking
Mind
that
blown.
guy, you know?
That fucking, yeah.
How do you do that? Like,
Right.
you know, and then I got a guitar and I was like, well, I'll get a guitar and I'll do that.
Acoustic or electric was
Acoustic, my first acoustic.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ibanez acoustic, got it for Christmas. And I thought I would just like figure it out, and it's way harder than you think.
Yeah, it looks so easy. Yeah.
I tried a bunch as a kid with a guitar and got
yeah,
nowhere.
it's
Nowhere.
not easy. And so you like, I went through a lot of periods of like picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down, and like slowly over time, you just develop enough to where you can like learn a lick from a song, and it's like every little victory, just kind of like, okay, I could maybe do this.
Yeah, I'm a little better now.
And then you get discouraged, and you put it down for a while, and then you come back. But yeah, it was high school. I dabbled, and then slowly from there. Like college, I played a little bit more, but it wasn't until probably till Jason and I started jamming more.
Yeah, but you were in a band.
Collaborating.
College
is an elevator.
Yeah, college I was in a band. That's true. College I was in a band where basically my job in the band was I was taught guitar parts and I just reproduced that. So it was a good learning experience for me because I didn't really write the parts. I just had to memorize them and learn it, and that like really helped me get to know the fretboard, get to know finger positions and stuff like that. But yeah, not really till college did I actually play seriously.
Did you have is there a guitarist that influenced you a lot?
Oh man. Well, I mean, when I was first starting out, like I wanted to be Jesse Lacey from Brand New. Like I loved that. Like I loved the way, his acoustic stuff. Like Soko Amaretto Lime was like one of those songs where that was one of the early songs I learned how to play too, where you could like play a little bit of it. Like I just wanted to do simple stuff. And then, going forward, then I got more into things like David Gilmour was like a huge, once you go down the Pink Floyd rabbit hole, like
you're toast.
David Gilmour was like, that's, if I could ever play anything close to that, that would be
so much
phenomenal. But there's just so many players.
So Jason, what was your influence growing up musically, from kid to shining?
I think
star?
my first, my parents put me in, piano lessons, but I never practiced. But it was still good to
You
get
wouldn't be able to tell.
still being able to do that. Like I remember I had two older sisters, so they were always in piano, and then I started, going to doing practices, and I remember it was a Christmas recital, and I was, in the younger crowd, and my teacher was trying to get me to do something Christmassy or whatever, and I was just like not practicing, wasn't into it. And then she gave me a book that was like Native American beats or something, and all it was just hammering, on the piano. And I was like, yeah, no, this is more what I'll practice this. I like this. So I played that at the Christmas recital. I think that was my first, like, I'm gonna do what I like to do or what I hear. But as far as like, listening to music, I think I have a vivid memory of, I think my dad was like doing paperwork or something, and he put on Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick.
Oh, wow.
Hell yeah!
So like, I think that was the first like, I like this. This is nice, and I will always love that album. But then, from there, 90s kid, right? You got rap, you got whatever genre you want, we had. So it was more whatever I was into. I was never into an artist. It was more like, if this song from this artist, like, felt good to me.
Yeah, the independent landscape opened up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How'd you get into saxophone?
Well, I think
I played saxophone.
I think somebody
That was
said we need
Nice.
a horn,
Yeah.
and I was like, "All right." And I got like a cheap $100 one from Record Head, and just started blowing on it.
When was that?
That's how it always starts, isn't it?
That was
Came from
before
Record Head.
Lake House Sessions. A little bit before that, I think. Yeah. So a couple
So this
years.
wasn't too long ago.
No, he
actually.
just learned how to play. He just
No,
taught
he's
himself how to
kind
play.
of a natural when it comes to
the
things.
most natural, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
you-
since I had
you
no
have an
training
aptitude.
in sax, the saxophone that I originally had, you know, because I play keys, so a sax is in a different, it's like, E flat or whatever. So I would never be able to read sheet music, but I know that, okay, this is a C on the piano, this is a C on the sax, and then I just kind of, okay, what's my D, what's my, C sharp, so then it's just and then I memorize it that way, and I only have a certain range
She's a natural.
that I can play or play well, and then it's just a progressive, like, okay, well, can I hit this note? Yeah. Okay, cool. But that first sax I had was not good at all. It sucked.
Are you saying sex or sax?
Saxophone?
I was thinking the same thing.
It's a sexy sax, man.
It is the
Heard him
sexy.
play, if
Is that
you
a-
heard
It
him
is
play,
the
you
sexy.
understand.
Is that a
Sax.
Freudian?
That was always the thing with the saxophone is you, there was all these sexual innuendos.
Well, yeah, you cannot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, like we talk about, it's all about the D.
It's like,
hey, let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Richie, a question for you.
Question for me.
You
Yeah.
said played the sax.
Yeah.
Why'd you stop?
I don't know. I just never. I stopped after 8th grade on the saxophone.
Why though?
Could you pick it up and play anything now? I mean, obviously, embouchure and
Yeah,
all that
probably,
is like a thing you
probably a
gotta
little bit.
We would love
You
to
know,
have dueling
probably.
saxophones.
Yeah, we need another horn.
bring it in.
I was into acoustic guitar a little bit, and then when I was in Chicago, I took lessons at the Old Town School of Folk Music.
Wow. Cool.
Nice.
I've always appreciated that aspect of. I've always appreciated musicians and people being able to do that stuff.
Me too.
I think I wanted to go from 0 to full throttle, and the fact that I couldn't, I was
Got
just
discouraged.
like, nah.
It's I mean, it's really it's
that's
classic.
the
Like
thing.
it
Yeah.
like I did that as a kid too, and it took me like I don't know 25 years to come back to it.
Yeah.
With the help of a friend. But I think a lot of people
Yeah.
that
You were
try to
doing
play
other
music-
stuff, though. You're doing stuff.
Well, yeah, no, of course. Like I mean, living a creative life, but in a different way. But like I think a lot
Yeah.
of kids go through that. Where
I see that too. I don't know if I have that desire to like put into one artistic instrument, musical instrument
Yeah.
like that.
You could be like
'Cause
Jason, play them all.
Well, I have so many friends that play instruments that I just kind of like vicariously kind of experience it through them.
Yeah.
Something I've been interested in though more lately, and I've picked up a little bit here is like the tambourine or just some like rhythmic stuff to just kind of be
Yeah.
a part of it. Something that I don't have to like
yeah.
train and practice for hours.
No,
at
you
a
just be
time.
human and
I
feel
like,
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Again, the essential part of this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
played
you don't
that
like
trumpet
you don't have to be good.
For a minute.
You just have
just
to
be a
feel
part
it.
of it.
So
You feel
You
it.
have to
maybe
feel
a
and
lower
listen.
octave
And-
Yeah.
lower tone.
You might do some, shit that might not work, but it doesn't matter.
matter.
Like just
Yeah.
it actually works because you're just like
Yeah.
being a human and feeling and emoting.
So Jason, you also do you do the computer work here, like the recording or the?
I set up the template, and I know enough to get it going. But as far as like mixing and all that, that's Blake over here.
Okay.
I know enough
Yeah.
to run wires and get them connected and get them hooked up. But
You do like engineer work here. I mean, you're the sound engineer.
sure,
Yeah.
You
But
run the board.
I would
I
say
run
yes.
the board. Yeah, I get everything connected. Yeah.
Sean, what's your musical influences growing up? What were the 1910s like?
Wow,
Different. It was different than now. I'll tell you that.
He always calls me a puppy. He always says, I'm so young, I'm so young. I finally shoot back, and it's like, oh, Frank!
I definitely was into like all the same shit Christian was into, but the thing that made me a little different is I went deep into the blues at a very young age.
Yeah, you
Like, I
did.
would go
Yeah,
to
you
the
did.
library, rent those really good records, the
Yeah,
real
man.
thick ones, Muddy Waters, you know.
You grew up on what in a way, like what your mom and dad were deep into too, right? I mean,
Well,
you
they were like
You were
kind of like,
exposed.
I for sure loved their record collection was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, Beatles,
Yeah, sure.
All this stuff. Van Morrison was
Yes.
big in my house. I still love Van Morrison. But I got really into the blues, and I had some buddies who could really play guitar. I mean, like really, at a
Killing.
very young age. Yeah,
Killing. I mean, like ridiculous.
And so then I got a harmonica, and I started playing harmonica.
He's really good at the harmonica, too.
Badass.
I'm really
Yes,
surprised that he's not on.
It's a
more
secret weapon.
tracks.
It's a secret weapon.
For real.
But I did that, and then graduated high school, and then I got in a band, and then I got kind of good at harmonica, and we were a good band. And then
The Clams.
Clams.
long time ago.
They're on the wall over
Those
there.
guys, that whole band, those guys are just like,
That's Sean right here. That's Sean right there.
Oh wow.
It's like, I don't know, what year is it? 93 in our first studio space in the River
Cool,
West?
man. I
on
did
the
not
roof?
know that. That's
Yeah, man.
great. That opened up a whole new door. of
those
like
guys
history
are
for you guys.
really good musicians, and then they let me play harmonica. But I mean,
You
I
were
did
a
it-
good musician
Let
too.
You're a good.
I mean, I'm talking like in the beginning,
Yeah, all right.
How would you say that? Harmonicist.
But so I did that, and then I quit
player.
because I was gonna get married and buy a house. So then but then we did like a reunion, and I was like, oh shit, I better practice. I think it was a 20-year reunion. Then I started playing again. I'm like, I gotta play. I gotta always play. So then I got back into harmonica deep, and I started taking lessons on a chromatic harmonica, and I learned all my scales on the push button chromatic harmonica.
Cool.
And then I was like, oh, I know a little bit about music theory now.
Yeah, you got that's.
I had like
you
a
jumped
keyboard that I would mess around with, and I'm like, I bet you I could play bass. And that's when
Full circle.
right. That's when me and Christian watched a Packer game at Mamie's, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a bass for Christmas. You should get some drums. That's it. There we go. Here we are.
And that's it.
Here we are.
Here we are, man.
Here we are.
Now it's today.
2025.
So I will say this though. So we have been here a long time,
We have.
and we haven't really gigged that much. Like, we don't really gig that much.
No.
Last year we averaged once a month.
I mean,
Well, that was, but I mean, I would
no,
say
over time? No.
Yeah, right.
True.
Christian and I, and whoever other musicians that would come in here, we weren't planned for a show.
Right.
So once you are not a gigging musician, you don't have to get over the crowd. Like, you don't have to impress anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
It's a great point.
yeah. So once you
Really?
start gigging a lot, then you got to get your show together, and you're just playing
different.
to please the crowd.
Yeah.
So we don't really ever think about that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's sort of, I think that's the magic.
Yeah.
I really
Couldn't have
think-
said it better.
I really think this album though is crowd pleasing, right? Like you guys
Well,
got some
it'll be
serious
good.
bands.
You know, hopefully you get there, right? I mean, that's
I
like.
don't know.
I mean, hopefully it
It doesn't
touches.
matter. It doesn't really matter.
I know
Yeah.
that's again, that's kind of the
But it's an excellent, you know, I mean, I love the idea that like people could be affected by it, you know, and could come up from the street and be like, man, I got to meet these people. Like that's that's profound. Like that's human connection, and that's the that's you hope for that, but like that is not, to Sean's point, like we just are being real with like trying to communicate and play and
I think that's the nucleus of your music, is that the connection. Right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's like
for
a
sure.
purity.
yeah.
You're in the space. You're doing it because this is you. You're basically communicating like you in a space, being present, being your full
Being
self,
present.
rather
Yeah.
than an external incentive to placate to something else.
For sure.
And like maybe through that you lessen yourself to appease, but what you do is it's like to enrich your life in a way.
Yeah, it's like when we think about the
To
album,
heal, to
Yeah.
we like the album, and we just want to do things that we like. We hope other people like it.
Absolutely.
It's always better to have more people in the party to connect
Shared
with
experience,
people.
for sure.
Like we hope it resonates with people, but at the end of the day, as long as we're making things that we like, that's what's most important to us, I think.
It seems that way. It seems like you guys have such a love for and a passion for what you're doing that it almost like elevates your relationships with each other within that common goal of creation, right? Like,
yeah.
I've been the beneficiary of experiencing it firsthand. So like, not being a part of like all your guys coming together, these wonderful stories of you guys growing into a band, for me to kind of just jump in, in the middle of it and watch all the things that I've watched, it's such an honor to witness that and like feel that energy and be a part of that, because your creative process, it's crazy, right? Like you have no creative process, it just happens. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the Italian, it's the studio. It is the studio.
Everybody has opinions.
We're trying to do some stuff.
We've gotten to a point where if somebody lays something down
Yeah, we're
and people are
dedicated to the
feeling
groove.
it,
Like,
we're gonna go.
I'll take one,
We're
too.
gonna go on it, right?
I'm
So
gonna yell and
Sean will be
yeah,
playing.
first.
He'll play a bass line.
yeah,
Christian will go on the drums.
yeah.
Blake and I will jump in,
But
and
wait,
that's the jam.
okay, wait though. And this is, I think this has got to be acknowledged. So yeah, we can get a little groove going, but I think really it's Jesse's ability to just spit out lyrics like, on the top
it
of his
should
head.
not go without
I mean,
saying.
that's the
dude.
whole man.
Yeah,
he
dude.
can
I
just
mean,
out of the blue, he's got a whole thing just composed just while we're just doing
Yeah.
a jam, and that's
He's a freak of nature.
what the hell? Who can do that?
I mean, to be able to play with Jesse, I mean, to be able to play with all these guys, for sure. For me, where I'm, like, I can only speak for me, is a blessing in my life, if I can, say it like that. But Jesse's a freak of nature. Like, I think
Really?
it's,
Yeah.
I could,
He's probably got 100 songs.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, just
Jesse
the way he
is-
wells up into something, it's like spiritual. It's so,
This is spiritual.
yeah, man. Like
Present.
he's lived 1,000.
He's the
times over.
nucleus of it. Even when we first started, like when it started with just Jason and I had a few ideas together. It wasn't until we were like, if we can get Jesse on board,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this could be something good.
Right. Otherwise, we're just in our houses playing music.
Yeah.
And once Jesse, I still remember the first track Jesse sent back with vocals on it. So we had sent him some music, and he sent back with vocals on. And as soon as I heard it, it was like I got chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that voice
Yeah, it's
track
like
was
on this.
it's deep.
So the very first one, I believe it was Elkhart, which is so. I don't know if you. So before Lake House Sessions, we had an EP called Dream, which is it's not on Spotify, but it's
I've
on
heard
like
the song
our
trains.
Bandcamp.
Good one.
That's great. It
That's
made
a good
me
one, man.
all like a little.
Yeah, dude. It's
So Elkhart was the first one, and then shortly after that was actually Living Like Ghosts.
Yeah.
right.
Which was on the Lake House sessions. But yeah, it was like as soon as Jesse put his voice on it, it was like
Listen to this guy. Like, what the?
it was magic. I mean, Jesse's a magical person.
He is.
He is.
So yeah, you're good.
I mean, he met Grandma, guys, so he's made it. I mean, you guys all got to meet Grandma, so you can officially. I mean, you guys have her card sitting over there.
Yeah, a Christmas card. Yeah,
Yeah, man, you guys
We're
got
very
two different.
grateful.
Oh,
Christmas.
grandma sent a Christmas card.
I gave.
You
her.
gave. Oh, okay, you gave.
Yeah. Because
We gotta set up a
Hand
meeting.
delivered.
Yeah. Second hand.
We gotta set up a meeting.
absolutely. She's such a good woman, man. She's one of a kind, just like Jesse. And they hit it off pretty well too, man. Watching those two interact was special,
How-
man.
You have this album coming up. How soon do you start thinking the next album?
It's on the board.
I mean,
6 months ago. we
I'm
were
looking at
thinking-
it. Yeah.
we were trying to plan it. Yeah, 6
Last
months
year.
ago.
Yeah, right.
You know, we don't get to it quick, but it's got to marinate, and we got 5 dudes with lives and
There's a chance we could do something this summer or in the
Yeah.
fall. I mean,
yeah,
happen.
fall.
fall, right? Like it's
I feel like fall for sure.
2 albums in 1 year.
Wow.
No, it probably won't come out.
Yeah,
for a
take
Yeah, it
little
wouldn't
bit.
come out. That's the
It
recording
was
session.
recorded in the fall.
You know, I mean, we're nomads. We're gonna, you know, we have an idea of where we would like to record next time because
I don't know,
we
guys,
will
I think you can
record.
do it. I
in
think
this-
you can do
So
it.
is it you said fall? Is there something specific about fall that you wanted to?
I don't
Usually
know.
summers
It's
are
another
hard.
season.
A bunch of
Summer's
stuff going on.
summer's hard time. I mean, we did this with summer, and I think it feels like summer. Like it was like July. It was like right after the 4th of July, maybe somewhere around there,
I
right?
don't know. I don't remember.
It was hot. I mean, it was like the
Yeah,
hot
it was
height
hot.
of summer.
And the air conditioning
AC was out.
No AC.
You know, I would ride my bike from the
Yeah.
west side over to Bayview.
Got warm in
and, like,
there.
We had the windows cranked wide open, and like I would talk to the neighbors in the day,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "Yeah, I could hear you guys doing some stuff."
Because it's quiet. It's a quiet little
Were they
spot.
cool with it? Your neighbors are cool with it?
It was me.
Yep, they're cool with it. Yeah.
Was your wife cool with it?
I didn't wake the kids.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
we
like-
didn't offend anybody.
people made comments, but yeah, we weren't playing that loud because
Nah.
we were.
Yeah, under the gun. Yeah.
Under-
I mean, I was
headphones.
the one who was making the noise.
Yeah, the guitars, but whatever. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think
it's,
we're trying to go to a cabin next. And
as far as coordinating our schedules is the hardest thing because there's
It is.
5 of us with full adult lives. Some of us with kids. We all have full-time jobs. So for as far as like when we'll record the next one, it's like we'll take whatever we can get, whenever we can.
It's gonna
make it
happen. I mean,
It's
it's
the attitude to
definitely.
have too.
Yeah. And just like the ability to have that space and that time, is a blessing in itself. Being able to come here every week is incredible. I mean, I think about like COVID time. I remember, when COVID and everything happened, everything shut down. And it was like the first time we didn't come to practice that first little bit.
it was weird.
And after a certain amount of time, we were just kind of like, this is going to be our bubble.
Right.
We have to do this.
Yep.
And, being able to come and start doing that again, we were like distancing
up
and
and-
masks and all this
Jesse
stuff.
wasn't singing.
It was weird, but it was still,
But
it was some familiarity.
connection.
Yeah. That
when there
just,
was like this like total lack of connection,
It
and it was like risky. It was risky. We all knew it was like.
Did you guys come here or did you go?
Well, for a while we were like
Zooming.
Zoom.
We
had
traded
Zoom
files.
practice.
We traded files.
Yeah.
But
We
then
kept
we were
the
like,
project going.
then we just came up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just
eventually.
like we're gonna go down together, I guess. if
Yeah.
we go
we
down.
we were trying to be as careful as we could.
Yeah,
Like I said,
for sure.
We did masks. We would be, testing when we like if anybody had symptoms or anything. But it was
Yeah.
like it was important. I mean, it kept me sane.
Yeah, I mean that was the other part of it is.
I mean, for sure.
in those times was like, if I can make music, stuck in the house all day and go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was helpful to get through that time.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel relieved after you guys play every week? Like, is it therapeutic in a sense?
100.
There's like a healing nature to it.
Yeah.
You can
Some
feel
weeks I
that.
couldn't get
Yeah.
through without it. I mean, I'm usually a little slightly nuts. Honestly.
Depends what's in his backpack.
Yeah, some nights it's full, some nights it's not so full. This is so necessary. I would,
You can feel that energy too,
Yeah.
like every week, man. Like what I explained when we interviewed Jesse, it's like I said, it doesn't matter if it's just 2 of you guys or all 5 of you guys. Like there's still that impactful feeling of the music. And even if it is just 2, you can feel the other guys in this room, in this space, like providing their love and their support, and it's something special, man. Like I said,
It's a collected
there's
sound.
a reason we're all sitting here right now.
Yeah,
right? Like,
There
you know,
is.
It's so impressive
You're right,
to
Frank.
be a part of, man. I can't thank you guys enough for letting me,
We can't thank you enough for your love, Frank. I mean, it's, Sean and I will always talk about the idea, and I know these guys share this, where it's like we're doing it because we want to do it together, but like really, like that connection with someone it's rare. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, Frank, it
It's
means
cool,
a
man.
lot when you compliment or you love the album. I mean that means so much. Like I said, it makes me smile
Yeah.
when I hear you talk about things. I mean, to have that connection for us, it's like there is just this need. I think we all share this like ambition or this need to like create, and I think that's what we love so much. Is just like that's what's therapeutic about it. Is just it's this playground to go and create that, like
it's pressureless. That's the beauty of it.
and it's like icing on the cake. If I'm already doing what I love to do and just being able to create, and somebody else connects with it, it's just like it's like more than I could hope for. And so like when you say like connecting with our music and stuff, it just like blows my mind. It's great.
I mean, coming from this side, that's the thing. It's like, you might think it's great. For me, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, think of the rare opportunity, right? There's like groupies out there and super fans out there and all these people like, that want to connect with this music and want to connect with this band.
And then you guys got stuck with Frank.
You guys, you guys drew this card, right? Where it's like,
Could have been a tall blonde.
man. Sometimes,
Dude, I'm gonna take
I'll dye my hair.
Frank all day. Frank all day.
and man, it's so infectious, dude. And once this album like really starts getting out there, I just feel like it's going to start changing people's lives, man, because it's so impactful. I've been listening to this album more than anybody, and I feel confident saying that now because it made it into the house. And I have a decent amount of it memorized, and like even Flowers playing right now, right? Like, how can you not be moved by not just the music, but Jesse's voice and the meaning behind everything, dude? It's just so... It's
a really
together.
nice package. It's really cohesive. Like it really, I think we had a lot of material to listen to, but as it got put together, I mean, it feels like a journey. Like there's something it's eclectic in its own way, and it has like different parts and to it in a way. Like it feels like an odyssey to me. I mean, I think it
That brings
really.
up a great. How long did it take you to make this album? How long did it take to produce this?
A while.
A year?
A while.
It's about a year. Yeah. I mean, again, so we recorded everything up top, and then it was, we didn't just record 13 songs worth of things.
Yeah, it was just a lot of material.
There was probably, 30 some songs ideas on there, plus like other stuff, and then it was a process of like kind of sifting through all the materials seeing
good
what
curator.
seeing what was going to work.
Really, really
And then
good
starting
curator.
to piece things together, like song-wise. And then once we had kind of like a rough draft, this is the first time we went back and then did some overdubbing, like redoing parts where we wanted to, versus like Lake House Sessions was just like
Pretty raw.
whatever
Yeah.
happened in that moment in the room is what was on it.
You know, it had its
Yeah.
recording limitations,
Yeah.
and so
And that's what we wanted with that, is just to be like that was a time,
yeah.
a snapshot of time. And this one we took a little more time. And that's the nice thing about, I think, being independent artists, where we do have the capability of doing it ourselves, is we're not necessarily on a deadline. So we don't have to feel stressed or pressured to like force it. And, for us that works because, like we said, it's hard coordinating schedules to like have extra time to come in and do stuff. So we were able to take our time with it and get it to where we all felt good about it. But yeah, it was like about a year. Yeah.
Solid.
I'm excited for it to come out publicly. It'll be good. Put it
So
on
you guys,
March 21st
have,
channels.
Yep, March 21st. So you guys also have WMSE coming up, and what day is that?
So that's March 18th. That's a Tuesday. So
That's gonna be fun.
yeah.
What time?
So that's at 6 p.m. I
Yeah,
believe.
6 to
On
7.
what number radio station?
It's 91.7. That's the
We want to
mighty.
make sure we
It's the mighty.
understand.
The mighty.
Yeah.
91.7.
The mighty
Yeah,
91.7.
It's a local live show.
We'll be doing
Local
the
live,
local
yeah.
live, so we'll be playing some songs live in studio there.
Have a little
And
chit chat.
Usually they'll do a little interview with it as well. So that's March 18th. That's a Tuesday. And then that Friday is the official release of the album, the 21st.
Okay.
And then the 22nd, the Saturday, is the album release party at Club Garibaldi.
I'll be there.
Frank will be at the door.
I will
see
be
him
there.
at the door.
Yeah, Frank will be there to greet you if you decide to come.
I can't wait.
We hope
We'd
you
love
do.
to. Yeah, we'd love to see everybody.
Honors all that.
The week after, then we're playing Crafty Cow.
Crafty Cow in Bayview, the 27th. We'll be doing a show that night as well. So that
That's
one's
kind of a tighter venue, right? Like that's kind of a smaller place.
yeah, it's a smaller
Smaller
space,
place,
so
yeah.
we'll probably be doing things a little bit different.
No
there.
set list, Frank.
Yeah,
no set
Yeah,
list.
that might be, that might be freak form.
Ooh,
Nice.
look at goosebumps.
So if you want to come and see a completely different show from the album release show, that's an option as well.
I like that.
Could be precarious. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me in your space again.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for visiting. You're welcome every time.
Before we wrap it up, I'm going to ask the same question that I asked Jesse before we go. We're going to start with Sean. We're going to go to Christian. Is there anything, Sean, that you want to tell the world? Is there any message
man.
you want to send out there? Is there anything you want to say to any one person or 1 million people about anything? It can be anything, personal, business, whatever. Is there anything you want to put out there? Jesse set the bar really high too at the end of this.
That was good.
So
It
high.
was really
I mean,
good.
It was really,
How do you follow that,
That
really?
sent chills
Yeah,
up
how
my
do you-
spine,
how do you-
where I was like, I'm gonna be all right. Like, he did it.
What was his answer
Yeah,
again?
what was it?
That you have a right to. be
Everybody
here.
This
is
world is yours. too.
everybody is
Yeah.
loved. You are loved. You are born. You have a right to be here. You are seen.
What else do you
really.
need to say?
Yeah, I mean, really.
I mean, I don't. I mean, that's a good sentiment. I don't really have. I don't really have anything.
No
I need
advice,
to-
no
I mean-
message, no anything.
I'm not really trying to say anything really. I mean, what Jesse said is good, 100%.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, that's
How about you, Jason?
yeah.
You got anything you want to tell the world?
I mean, my mantra is, do you. Do you. Everybody's got their own problems, everybody's got their own things going on, but just do you. Don't let other people get in the way of
I
that.
thought it was I
like
don't give
that.
a fuck.
Well, that's the way how I do me.
There you go.
So you do you.
Yeah.
Right?
Blake, how about yourself? Anything you want to tell the world, man?
I mean, I'm gonna echo Jesse's sentiments and just love each other. I mean, I think there's so much information out there right now, or forces that are trying to make us different or feel like we're so different. But I think everybody is so much more similar than we think. The walls that divide us are not, as high as we think.
Non-existent.
And just, really listen to people. And I think if you really listen to people, you'll see that they're a lot more similar to you than you would think. So, just love each other and be kind to each other.
Christian, how do you want to round it out? Do you want to pull a note out of your backpack?
The backpack is empty. I mean, how do I share all of that. I mean, I share all of that. Like, drink water.
Hydrate.
Fight hate. Hydrate,
Clean
fight
water.
hate, love each other. Basta, enough. We gotta get along.
You guys should all know that you're all beautiful people and you do amazing, outstanding things. I mean, you've done it for me beyond, right? I understand and recognize that I'm on a different echelon just because of how we met and the fact that you allow me in your guys' space to enjoy the shit you create and the love and the brotherly connection and all that. I really hope for the world that they, not only from this interview, but from your music specifically, feel the same way that I feel just hearing it, man, and being a part of it, right? Because like you said, we're all in this together. We're not divided, man. And I feel like your music is a grassroots stepping stone to the future of positivity. And if we can all keep that sucker rolling, man, there's no ending, man. Like we started this interview, butterfly effect, right? It could start right here in this room right now. Mm-hmm. And I hope and pray and wish that this is that snowball effect to endless love for all.
Yeah, me too. Peace and love.
I love it.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, guys.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah.
Yes, man.